Are you dreaming of visiting Switzerland? Planning a trip to Switzerland is very exciting, but it can also be overwhelming. How do you choose which of the many scenic cities, towns and villages to visit? Which mountaintop excursions should you take? And what's the best way to get around Switzerland? And of course, how much of the country can you realistically see within your time frame? If you've asked yourself any of these questions, this is the podcast for you. This is the Holidays to Switzerland travel podcast, and in each episode, your host Carolyn Schonnefinger chats with Swiss travel experts to answer your most commonly asked questions, provide practical tips, and take you on a virtual visit to the most popular destinations, and of course some hidden gems to help you plan your dream trip to Switzerland. And you'll hear plenty of conversations about Swiss cheese and chocolate too. Are you ready to plan your trip to Switzerland? Well, let's get started.
Hello, Grüezi. Welcome to episode 110 of the Holidays to Switzerland podcast. I'm your host, Carolyn, and I'm very happy to have you joining me today for more Swiss travel tips and inspiration. In today's episode, I'm welcoming back Jana Amacher, the manager of the Berner Oberland Pass. Jana has been a guest on quite a few previous episodes of the podcast, and today she is back to share some news about the pass for 2025, and she's going to give us some off-season excursion ideas too. The Berner Oberland Pass is a really popular travel pass for visitors to the Bernese Oberland, as it covers such a wide area, and it's definitely worth considering purchasing one if you will be spending 3 or more days in the region. I'll let Jana tell you more about the pass and what the new inclusions are and the other changes for 2025. Hi, Jana. Thank you very much for coming back onto the podcast. You've been a very good friend of the podcast over the years. You've made a few appearances, so it's lovely to have you back. For the people that are listening that perhaps haven't heard you on the podcast before, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do for a job?
Yes, thank you, Caroline, for having me again. I'm Jana Amacher. I'm the manager of the Berner Oberland Pass, and I used to work as well for Jungfrau region because I live in Meiringen, so I know the Berner Oberland really well.
Born and raised there, are you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so I'm sure you know every little corner of the Bernese Oberland. Wonderful.
Most, yeah.
Yeah. So for the listeners who aren't familiar with the Berner Oberland Pass, could you tell them what it is and what it covers, please?
Yes, well, the Berner Oberland Pass is actually a travel pass, and it allows you for unlimited travel for public transportation within the Bernese Oberland. And it covers like trains, buses, boats, which is really special compared to other passes. We have mountain excursions included, like more than 25.
Fantastic. So when can Berner Oberland Pass be used? Because I know in the past it was only available for use in certain months of the year, but what about now and heading into 2025?
Yes, actually, it would be end of season, end of October, but we decided to have it all year around. So this means it's always available for every month of the year.
That's great. And we will talk in a little bit about some of the things that you can do with the pass when you're traveling in winter, because I guess a lot of people perhaps think that everything shuts down in winter, but that's not the case. Before we get into that, I know there's been a few changes to the Berner Oberland Pass for 2025. So can you tell us, firstly, what are the new additions to the pass for next year?
Yes, we have 2 bigger additions. So now it used to be half price from Mürren to Schilthorn with the Berner Oberland Pass, and now you have it included in the pass. So your excursion to Schilthorn is totally free of charge if you're traveling with the Berner Oberland Pass.
Okay, that's great.
The same goes with the Montreux with the GoldenPass Express. It used to be free travel from Interlaken to Saanen, and then you need to get a ticket. And now it's all free. So not free, but it's included in the pass.
Okay, so that's one of the panoramic trains. So that means that there's actually 2 of the beautiful panoramic trains that are included, free travel with the Berner Oberland Pass now.
Exactly. And for this one, I totally recommend the seat reservation, as they have the special trains now there. So that's worth it.
Okay, that's great to know. So I also believe that there are some excursions that were previously covered in full with the pass, but from 2025, they're going to be discounted only. So can you tell us which ones those are, please?
Yes. Yeah, we lost some partners in the Jungfrau region with Jungfrau Railways. So we had Grindelwald First fully included, which is now with a 50% discount. We had the Harder Kulm included. This is also with a 50% discount. We had the Schienige Platte included, which starts from Wilderswil, which is now also 50% discount. And also the Eiger Express was fully included, and now you get 25% discount. This is the same discount as you get with the Swiss Travel Pass. And the Jungfrau Joch, we had a special ticket for 99 Swiss francs, but now you get 25% discount. What I recommend is to buy the Berner Oberland Pass combined with a Swiss half-fare card, because then you get more reduction to visit Jungfrau Joch. So you pay like 100 Swiss francs if you have the Swiss half-fare card and the Berner Oberland Pass.
Okay, that's a great tip. So if people are wanting to do those excursions where they have to pay an additional amount for, like Grindelwald First, for example, where do they buy that, or where do they pay that extra amount once they've already got the Berner Oberland Pass?
They can do it at the counter of Jungfrau Railway or online. They can just click on the half price discount, and then it will be valid with the Berner Oberland Pass.
Okay, that's good. Now, for those people that would like to get their Berner Oberland Pass in advance before they arrive in Switzerland, where should they buy it?
I recommend to buy it online, as it's told. Online, you have different options. You can get it on our website, but also we have a lot of partner websites like Holidays to Switzerland, which is a seller of the Berner Oberland Pass. And if you buy it online, you have a QR code on the ticket. And with this QR code, you can skip many lines at mountain excursions. And you can't do this if you buy it at the train station in Switzerland, but it's never sold out. The price is always the same on all the websites. So this doesn't matter.
Okay, great. And one other thing that we didn't mention there is that the pass also gives people discounted admission to lots of other attractions in the Bernese Oberland. So can you give us just an example of just a few places where they could get reduced admission?
Yes, we have more than 40 bonus partners. So, for example, if you like to visit the Aare Gorge or Trömelbach Falls, if you go to the Open Air Museum Ballenberg, you will have a discount like between 10 and 50% normally, and then you get some reduction.
Excellent. Okay. Now, we have chatted previously on a couple of different podcast episodes about some of the excursions that you can do during the, let's call them the summer months from April to October. And most recently, you were on the podcast in episode 102. So today, can we talk about a few of the excursions that people can do if they're visiting from November to March? Yeah, what are some of the things that you would recommend?
Yes, really interesting questions. If you check our partners, you realize that most of them are actually also open during winter. It's like only the Brienzer Rothorn, for example, which is closed, and then Jessen, but most of the partners are open. For example, if we have Schildhorn now included, but this season is a bit special because they are under construction and they will open again mid of March. But of course, normally they are open in winter, and you can really reach it easily from Interlaken. You either take the gondola to get from Lauterbrunnen to Mürren, or you can take the train. So you also have different options there, and 2 ways, or you can visit Männlichen. The Männlichen is from both sides included, so you can go to Männlichen starting from Wengen or from Grindelwald. You could do a round trip, so that's still fully included. and this is open during the winter as well. Really important with the pass, it's not allowed to go skiing. It's only for winter hiking or sledging.
That's good to know. So with Mannlichen, for instance, it's one of my favourite mountain peaks, I'd have to say. The views from up there are just amazing. I've only been there in summer, so I'm looking forward to visiting in winter this year. But what are some of the things that people can do in winter there, apart from sort of winter hiking? Is there anything apart from the views for them to enjoy?
Yes, you have also the mountain restaurants which are open, or like it's not a winter hike, but you can do the royal hike as well. So you get to this ground, this is open, or you can do the sledding, or you can do like snowshoe hiking. So you have different options. Basically, it's really the view up there. So really nice.
It's a view you never forget, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what else could people consider doing during those winter months?
What I also really like is the lake cruise, because actually people think that's really a summer thing. But on Lake Thun, you can also do it during winter. The Lake Prince is not possible because the water is too low. So it's not possible to go there during winter, but you can do it on Lake Thun. Or you can take the GoldenPass Express from Montreux or the Luzern-Interlaken Express. So all the train lines, they are here the whole year, so that's not a problem at all.
Okay, so you could do those. Now, you probably wouldn't want to do a day trip on both those lines in one day, but for instance, on one day, if you're based, let's say, in Interlaken, you could go to Montreux and then come back later in the day, or you could go to Luzern and come back later in the day if you weren't visiting those places another point in your vacation.
Yes, or you could take the train to Bern, and from there you go to Trubschachen. There's the Kambli Museum. So you have really nice train rides, which are all included in the pass. But beside that, of course, like all the ski areas like Gstaad, Lenk, Hasliberg, they're all included as well. And there you can go for nice views, for the mountain restaurants, for just taking the gondolas is quite an adventure as well, I think, because all the gondolas are so different with all the different mountain tops, and you can do some hiking.
And the views would just be amazing, I'm sure, with all those mountains just covered in snow. So can you tell us a bit more about Hasliberg? I mean, I know we've talked about it before, but we've really probably only talked about it from a summer perspective. And I know, well, this is a very special mountain for you because you live very close. So what would you say to people who are thinking of going to Hasliberg over the winter?
Yes, I know it really well because I used to ski there like every day. I just walk 5 minutes to the gondola station and then I'm basically up in the mountains. So what I really like is to go in winter for winter hikings, because you can also visit Alpen Tower. From there, you have like over really hundreds of mountain peaks you see there. And you can walk through like a crosswalk and you have a beautiful view on both sides of this. And it's just like 5 minutes. So you don't even need to walk long. They have different brunches available also sometimes during the weekend, sometimes all the days. And they have great après-ski bars. So basically, it doesn't matter where you go on Hasliberg, you will find everywhere something really special, also during winter.
Okay. So what about somewhere like Gstaad? You mentioned that that's a popular mountain resort. What are some of the things that we can do there over the winter, apart from skiing?
Basically also the same, like on Hasliberg, you can visit like those really nice mountain restaurants, but there it's also special because you can like take different gondolas, depends on where you start in Gstaad. And then you can also do the hikings, or you can just go there to have lunch or just to enjoy the views.
That would be a really good combination with going on the GoldenPass Express from Interlaken to Gstaad, and then, as you say, going up on one of the gondolas and getting the views from up there, and then returning back on the beautiful panoramic train.
Yeah, that sounds like a really nice plan.
Okay, maybe I'll have to add that to my list. You also mentioned Lenk there before. Now, this is a town or a village that I'm really not familiar with. So I'd love it if you could sort of tell us a bit more about Lenk.
Yes, we always talk about Lenk and Adelboden because actually the ski region, or also in summer, just the gondolas there together. So it doesn't matter if you start from Lenk or Adelboden, at some point they're basically together and it's the same region you can visit there. And Lenk is also really nice little village where you can visit, and just from there you take the gondolas to go up to the mountains.
Okay, sounds very special. So just to summarize again, you said there's over 25 mountain excursions that are fully covered with the Berner Oberland Pass, and I think there's 20 or so more that are discounted as well. So it's excellent value when you consider that you've got all the public transport as well and all those discounted admissions to 40 plus partners. So it's, a very, very worthwhile pass to buy when people are visiting the region. When will the 2025 pass be available for purchase for people who are planning to visit next year and wanting to buy their pass ahead of time?
We've just started with selling the passes because normally we sell 6 months in advance. Now we just stopped because we needed to give firstly the news for 25, but now you can buy it again. And yes, I always recommend to wait a bit because when prices are fixed, they don't rise. So also if you buy it like 1 week in advance, that's enough.
Okay. Great. And you said before that it never sells out, so people don't have to panic about that. Great. All right. Well, thank you very much for sharing all that with us again. I'll put a link in the show notes to your website and also to the Holidays to Switzerland shop. So hopefully our listeners will purchase their Berner Oberland Pass online from there. That would be wonderful. And yes, I hope we can send lots of people off to the Bernese Oberland in 2025 with their Berner Oberland Pass ready to go.
Yes, we're looking forward to our first winter season.
I'm sure you are. Wonderful. Well, I hope it's a great success. Thanks, Jana.
Thank you, Caroline.
Well, despite the reduction in discount for a few mountain excursions in 2025, I still think the Berner Oberland Pass offers excellent value. It not only covers public transport from as far afield as Domodossola and Brig in the south, it also covers the travel from Montreux, Bern and Lucerne. So the pass can be used as your ticket to reach the Bernese Oberland and as you depart the region as well. With 2 panoramic trains included, plus buses, boats and over 25 mountain railways, all free of charge, it's definitely money well spent, in my opinion. You can learn more about the Berner Oberland Pass in Jana's previous episodes and in my detailed guide to the Berner Oberland Pass on holidaystoSwitzerland.com. I'll include links to all those resources and to the Holidays to Switzerland shop so you can purchase your Berner Oberland Pass, and they'll all be in the show notes for this episode. The show notes are at holidaystoSwitzerland.com/episode 110. And you'll also find a link there to get my free guide, 21 Useful Things to Know Before You Visit Switzerland. So head on over to the show notes and grab your copy of that today. Before I go, I have just a small favour to ask. If you enjoy the podcast and it's been helpful for your Switzerland vacation planning, I would be super grateful if you could just take a minute or two to leave a 5-star rating or a review wherever you're listening now. More ratings and reviews help us to reach more listeners, and then we can help more folks just like you plan their own dream Swiss vacation. Thank you so much in advance. Until next time, tschüss!